Macharia. Of course, we'll be giving you much more detail in the subsequent bulletins tonight. Don't miss. Ken Mijungu will be here with News Hour. Let's now go back to our stories. Well, as the CBK forecasts strong economic recovery in the near term, we seek to establish the viability of numbers. KTN's senior broadcast journalist Brenda Kerubo spoke to economic analyst Churchill Ogutu. Here is more.
Okay, so, the MPC released their latest statement yesterday. What do you make of it?
Thank you, Brenda. It came in line with expectations. The mandate for the Central Bank of Kenya is on price stability, and that is inflation. We've seen that the inflation is within the target band, that's between 2.5% to 7.5%. Though on fuel inflation, we saw it coming off to 9.9% from 11.1% the prior month. And then again, looking at the growth, there's been a recovery based on the 2Q numbers that were released sometime early this month, and also the optimism in the economy based on the MPC surveys. So ideally, it was in line with the expectations that retention of the benchmark rate at 7%.
All right. And, there's this new threat, the Omicron variant. At what extent will it contribute to the outlook, especially when it comes to growth? Because we are heading into the, festive season, and there should be a lot of spending. So how are you pricing this altogether?
Yeah, obviously, with any new COVID variant, there's usually some uncertainty, and that's also what we are seeing. Though I believe that the current restrictive or mitigation measures that have been put across the globe are a bit knee-jerk reaction. People really don't have a handle on this particular variant Omicron. But having said that, I think the first line of defense or the first phase of tackling this particular new variant will be at least ensuring that external visitors might be vetted. So as we go into the festive season, I don't expect that the internal restrictions will be put in place at the initial phase, at least not unless now we see the people who are coming from external countries, they're ensured that they are given a clean bill of health before now they can come into the country, because right now we don't have cases of that variant locally, so it's just a matter of it coming from abroad. So I think the focus will be on visitors, international visitors coming into place. So measures will be on the borders, international borders at this point in time. Before now we see that there could be some escalation locally. So I think it will still be a wait and see attitude by the government as it monitors the situation. We don't know how it is currently. We don't know right now with the vaccination rate at 9.8% locally. We don't know whether the current vaccines can also enable people to be safe, if I may put it that way, against this particular new strain. So those are some of the questions that the medical experts will be able to advise the government before they introduce any new restrictive measures.
And of course, Churchill, this is the 11th time that the CBK has retained the rate at 7%. I mean, people are going to ask, when will they move,
I think that from at this point in time, it's only one way. And that is upward, based on how there's a global recovery. Vaccination now started improving, and also reduced infection rates, at least locally. So there's only one direction that we'll see in the CBR, and that's upwards. But I believe that our central bank is still cautious, taking a cautious stance, waiting until the environment or the data is more substantive enough for it to so that it doesn't act prematurely. Right now, with the mandate of CBK, it is called inflation. So it will be more data dependent. So they'll just be looking at the data before they are able Yeah, so unlike other central banks that you've seen in sub-Saharan Africa, we saw the other week South African Reserve Bank increasing its benchmark rate by 0.5%. Last week, we saw Ghana increasing its benchmark rate by 1%. We are still not like those countries because one, South Africa, they are trying to they are trying to act in advance of advanced economies. This is the US. For the case of Ghana, its inflation was quite over the roof, and it surpassed even its target level. So that by itself tells us that with our own inflation within the target band, I still expect a cautious stance with the central bank, at least in the near future.
Very well, and we're due for our short break. We'll be back with more. BBC Money Daily will be back up next after that.